Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And I'm back with another recap of Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 6, Episode 9, True Colors. So a lot is going on here and it's time to unpack what's really going on. Okay, so as y'all already know, the part that we've been all waiting for, it ended off with Fatima showing up to Karen's house. And she was like, yeah, so Zach's supposed to be coming over. And next thing you know, Karen done 360 like, oh, so you just gonna come up into my house. And let's just say them two, back and forth like, wow. So Andy, Danny, Karen, Sabrina, and Fatima. So they're all trying to hold back Karen from Fatima, and then you have Karen keep calling Fatima all these bitches and stuff like that. And it's just like, what? Like, they was literally about to go blows to blows. Then next thing you know, Zach comes in. He was like, listen, I already knew you was up to something. Like, what are you doing here? And then next thing you know, you see Karen's like, you need to get out of my house, B. Tell this bitch to get out of my house. And then Andy's trying to hold her back. And Karen miraculously got all this strength to push Andy away like a rag doll. Like, get out of my way. And then they all just going back and forth. So they all trying to tell each other to get out the house. And, Andy was like, Fatima, please, can you get out of the house? I'm your boss. And I'm with Fatima. She was like, yeah, from 9 to 5. So whatever we do outside hours don't concern you. So listen, I'm going to stand my ground. You're going to stand your, and that's just what it is. So, like, at this point, you can see it. Fatima's face is like, dang, all of y'all kind of fake. Like, I thought you was my friend. But then at the same time, it's a lot between them. And it's like, oh, my God. Is there ever going to be a resolution? We don't know. So, anyways, words are seeing back, forth to forth. And Karen was like, oh, she just gonna come up in my house like she pay rent. And Fatima was like, well, if I did own this place, I would get something more nicer than this. Then you got Danny. Like, Danny is everybody's spirit animal. Like, she be saying the stuff that we be thinking out loud. It's just like, yes, Team Danny all the way. Every little thing. Danny had a good comeback. I was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I would see it. But anyways, they're all interjecting with each other. They're fighting stuff. Then next thing you know, Fatima puts Karen in her place. Like, listen, stop coming for my man. He don't want to have sex. He don't love you anymore. So that she's like, yeah. So she decides to go get some paper. And she touched Zach. Was like, here, go see. That baby is yours. And Fatima was like, yeah, do that again. He's like, I would do anything I want up and please. Like, listen, I would do it. Like, you remember you brought me back to the coffee shop. You tell me how much you love me. Tell me how your dick was hard under the table. And it's just like, it was embarrassing and shocking to say the least that all of this was going down. And it's just like, ain't nobody really saying it. They just like, y'all all know what's going on in the sister circle. So it was like, y'all acting all dumbfounded. Like, literally, Karen, you brought all this onto yourself. And they're talking about all the stress. Karen, you made this bed, so now you got to lie in it. So now it's supposed to be everybody else's fault, the reason why you acting this way. No, you did this on your own. Granted, okay, Zach thought you died, but still, you was trying to get with him from the get-go before you even had this little fire and whatnot. So now that the roles are reversed, it's like he's making you this way. No, you made yourself this way, okay? So Zach is trying to calm Fatima down. Next thing you know, who pops up? Aaron. Like, he was like, I was just coming by to see if she was okay. And Daddy, she's always saying the thoughts we think. He was like, not to overstep, but I was just seeing if she was okay. And here's Danny, but you said not to overstep, but you come here unannounced. You didn't call. And he was like, did that come at a bad time? She was like, yeah, or the right damn time. So it's kind of like a 50-50. It's like and then when Aaron said that he was there, you could see the disgust in Karen's face, like, oh, not this dude again. Like, when will he get the hint that, like, just leave me alone? So they're going back and forth for a good, 5-10 minutes. Next thing you know, Zach was able to, after that whole paper thing, Zach left the paper on the floor, and eventually Zach was able to get Fatima out the house. Next thing you know, as the paper dropped, Danny was trying to look at the paper, and Andy was like, "No, don't do it." So after Fatima and Zach leave, next thing you know, Karen tells Andy to leave the house because she's the reason why Fatima came up to her house. It's just like, no, but whatever. She tried to, make it seem that it was Andy's fault while things were going the way it was. Then next thing, she wanted everybody out the house, and then that one left. Next, for some reason, Karen, she stepped away, and I guess she went into her room because she ain't got time for this, and everybody started going outside, but Aaron left, Fatima left, Zach left, so it's only Danny, Andy, and Sabrina. So Danny ends up picking up Andy ended up picking up the paper, and Danny was like, "Listen, get off of me before I fling you." And, you can't do nothing about it. So Danny ended up getting the paper from Andy. She opens it and look at it. She was like, puts it back in. She was like, "Listen, this paper is blank. It's empty. She bluffed the whole time. And I'm about to go before I have to beat her behind because, you can't be playing with people's feelings like that." So, yeah. So everybody else decides to leave. So once they get outside, you got Zach still on the phone trying to talk on his phone. Then you got Aaron, you got Andy and Danny and Sabrina. So basically they always trying to stay around so that Fatima don't come back. But Andy was like, "No, Zach, go home." And then Aaron and Zach said some more words to each other, talk about the kids and all that stuff. Just like, well, dang. So Sabrina was able to be like kind of the voice of reason. She was basically telling Zach, "Listen, check on Fatima to see if she's okay." He get a text message that she's home, and Sabrina was like, "Go check on her." He was like, "Copy, that's cool." So at the same time, I thought he was really gonna hug Sabrina. Tell me how he stuck out the middle finger at Aaron. Was like, oh, that was so funny, but whatever. Then moving along, Andy was trying to stay and talk, and then some things was like, or Danny was like, "Listen, you can't do nothing if Fatima decided to come back because you see the way Karen just like pushed you to the side." She's like, "Okay, whatever." Then she decided she's gonna leave. Danny was like, "Listen, I ain't got time for this. Like, I'm about to have a good time for you. I got a date and stuff like that." So she ends up leaving. So now it's just Andy, Sabrina, and Aaron. They had some words to each other. And then eventually Andy leaves, and then Sabrina and Aaron stays because at one point Zach notices that Aaron been drinking, so you could smell the alcohol on his breath. So after they leave, whatever, it's just Sabrina and Aaron was talking, and Sabrina was like, "You been drinking?" He was like, "Listen, that's not really in your business, but it's only been one drink." And not Karen. Sabrina was like, "Yeah, you're in recovery, so this is not good for you at this moment." Karen did not need all the stress and stuff. That he was like, "Yeah, I know, but I just want to make sure she's okay." So Sabrina ends up insisting that Aaron puts his number in her phone, and she'll make sure that she'll call him and give him updates and stuff. That so he leaves. Sabrina goes back into her Karen's apartment. So now Karen and Sabrina are talking, but when Sabrina gets in, she notices that Karen is sitting on the couch with her gun in her hand with the door wide open. She was like, "Listen, why are you doing this today in case Fatima comes back?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." So eventually Sabrina was trying to talk Karen's head down, and Karen was not going for it. So she was like, "Listen, I'm going to sleep. I ain't got time for this." So meanwhile, Karen goes to her room, and Pam is at the door, was like, "Hey, I was just calling to see, check on Karen because, I called her numerous times and she has not picked up." And then Sabrina shows Pam her phone. She was like, "Yeah, she's ready. She's fine." So they talk and whatever. Next thing you know, they get ready to leave. So she's fine. She can go to sleep. She was like, "Dang, what was that all about with the gun?" She was like, "Yeah, it's cool. It's whatever." So them two leave and go home, close her door behind them. Then we have Maurice and Calvin. they're talking, having a moment about the whole Sabrina situation. And Maurice was like, yeah, I understand things shouldn't have went the way they did. You know, so it was not Sabrina's fault. So they're talking, having a good moment. And Calvin was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then at one moment, Maurice was like, yeah, Calvin, can you do me a favor? I thought he was about to say, can you help me with something? He was like, if you don't get this ugly furniture out of my house, like, now, get it out of my house now. Like, that was so funny. Like, it's never a dull moment with Maurice. Like, his cattiness and sarcastic ways, I mean, sometimes it gets me mad at the wrong moments, but right then and there, that was the moment I needed to hear. Like, that was just so funny. Like, for real, for real. Oh, my God. So, Zach made sure that Fatima made it home safe. And you got Fatima pacing around like she is trying me. Basically, in a nutshell, Zach told Fatima that she was wrong for going over there. But then at the same time, Fatima was like, yeah, Karen's been over here. She has been over here. She basically did the same thing Fatima did unannounced. Fatima only went to her house one time. Karen then showed up to their house 3 or 4 times unannounced, and it never got to like that far. Like, Fatima played her role smart. She laughed and smiled on her face and, you know, kept it cool and cordial. And the moment, you know, things go the opposite way, it's like all hell about to break loose. So at this point, Zach is trying to talk to Fatima. Fatima's like, I'm calm and whatever. And then he was like, listen, I'm going to bed. And then Fatima was like, nah, I'm going to just stay down here. He was like, you going to do what? So he slowly pulled the chair from the table, sat down, and was just basically going to watch her. Like, listen, I'm going to watch you. She was like, yeah, you better have both eyes open. And he crossed his legs and just was like, oh, okay. So now Gary's on his way home, I believe. Oh, excuse me. And Hayden calls him, and Hayden was just asking for some advice. He was like, listen, I'm about to get some annulment. I'm about to go in there and tell her. And then at one point, Hayden was like, I don't really know if I should go through this. What should I do? He was like, just tell her. Like, you know, tell her what your thoughts and stuff like that. He was like, listen, I don't even know why I ever called you. Like, this is like a waste of time for nothing. He was like, listen, Gary was like, listen, I'm just about to, I'm just helping you. Like, you're going to thank me in the long run. He was like, yeah, whatever. But why you even call me? Because it's like, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. So it's like, yeah. He was like, just tell her, like, just, you know, just tell her. He was like, yeah, okay, thanks. And I'll call you later, you know, see how things go. So he gets at the phone, goes into the house. Tamara greets him in this nice negligee that she has on. And basically, he was just feeling like he got cold. He was like, listen, we only been married for 3 days. I think we should get an annulment. Basically, Tamara likes being married to him, even though it's only been like 3 days. And she was like, what's the difference? He was like, annulment. It's like, we've only been married for a short time, so it's a time frame. We got to get that done. She was like, well, listen, I don't want to get a divorce. I like being married to you. So he basically said, listen, I want an annulment, and, you know, we can see, and then, you know, it's just moving too fast for us. But she was like, no, I just want this. Why you just couldn't wait and see if we could take things slow? And let's just say it went left. You can already see it. She really about to take this man for everything he's worth now. You don't put the fire in her back, that she's about to turn evil on you. And you about to see a bridezilla, even though they married, like a bridezilla come through the phone. Now, Hayden's like, dang, I really messed up. I shouldn't have said nothing in his head. But we about to see them tables about to turn. I feel sorry for you, bro. You should have just left it alone and just ride out the wave. But, you know, you get what you ask for. You're going to get it all right. So, Danny and Preston are on their date. And things kind of go left when and started talking about how Karen was going off the rails. And as a whole Zach situation, she was like, yeah, I noticed. Like, now Danny wants to know what he had said to Zach and pertains to that whole situation. He was like, yeah, I noticed how Zach was all up on Karen and not regarding how Fatima felt and stuff like that. And Danny was like, yeah, it's funny how you can see Zach's situation so clearly, but when it comes to us, you act like he's slow and dumb, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's happening. He was like, yeah, I admit sometimes I could be like that, but I'm trying. She was like, yeah, you are. And he was like, listen, I've never like ignored you or mistreated you to anybody and stuff like that. He was like, yeah, but I remember sometimes you tried to make me jealous. And, it may have been different, but, that's how it made me feel. So it was like, okay. He was like, listen, I did try to give him some advice. Like, you was wrong for how things have went down. And, like, you could have handled that a lot better. But I didn't get a chance to tell him that. But I am going to tell him that. He was like, and she was like, okay, that's good. But, next time you have some advice, try to save some for us. Because, it can help us out in the long run. It was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. So they decided to get some more wine and enjoy the rest of their date. Meanwhile, Sabrina done made it back home. And she ends up calling Andy. Andy and her talk. And Andy basically felt like Karen basically shitted on her and like threw her to the wolves. That's just how she made her feel. You could see in her face, like, yeah, she was hurt by what Karen was saying and what she did. And Andrew's like, listen, you realize I can't be friends with both of them. That's just one thing that they don't understand. Like, you can have more than just one friend. Like, come on now. So, Sabrina was like, I'm gonna call over there and talk to her a little bit later. Stuff like that. She's going. But Andy couldn't even stay there to talk because, Gary was coming over. So she hung up the phone with her. So now Gary pulls up to the house. And Andy's like, she's feeling a certain type of way. And at the same time, Gary's feeling a certain type of way. So they're talking one night. She just wants to have sex. And he's like, no. It's crazy because that's exactly the same way he was treating her in the beginning. Now that the roles are reversed, he can't take it. Like, he was basically pushing her boundaries with her, and she was like steadily by his side through the whole ordeal. Basically, she just wanted to have sex with him, and he's not for it. And he was like, now that I'm seeing your true colors each and every day, it's crazy how you can just want to just have sex with me. She was like, yeah, but it's crazy how you want to just, F me over and stuff like that. It was like, wow, touche. Yeah, you don't like it. The roles truly are reversed, and you're not liking the side of her, which is all good and dandy because it's like, why they wait so long to give her like this amount of, power that makes her finally see the kind of man that he really is, and vice versa. But, it is what it is. So he decided he's going to leave. And she was like, listen, I'm about to just call somebody who want to have sex with me. He was like, yeah, if you do that, I bet you they can't do it like I do. And she was like, He leaves and she has like her attitude. She walks up to her room and that's just what it is. Maurice, he decides to go down to the precinct and talk to Logan and, tell him about the whole situation that it was him and Q behind it. Sabrina had nothing to do with it, but I don't know. Now it's kind of going to make it seem like what you really had something high for. Like, why you lie about it first and then now all of a sudden you're saying you did it. It's going to make the whole situation a lot worse than what it needs to be. But anyways, that's just what it is. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. I can't believe it's one more episode until the mid-season finale. I can't wait. Like, it's really about to be 10 episodes in next week. Wow. Wow. Okay, but anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.